Hello, everybody. What we're going to be doing this evening is a tier list of the Infusion Boons and the Legendaries. Well, I figured I was going to do them separately, and I'm like, that's too small of a tier list. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to start off with the Legendaries. Let's go down the list here. So we got Shocking Loss. That is a Zeus's legendary. I think it gives you a 25% chance the first time lightning deals damage to a normal monster. I think anything that's not a guardian. You can kill mini bosses with it too. You can't kill named mini bosses. So like the ones in the last zone of the surface it won't kill, but you can kill like the dragon or like any of the prior ones. The mini bosses can just get killed by it. It's pretty cool. It does go up to around between 30 and 40% if you have a really juicy success rate, which is cool. So what we're going to do then, we're going to use the first 4 tiers. I don't think we need the D tier. All these things are pretty okay. They're all worth having. So we're not going to, but we're going to just drop this in B. The weakest part of Zeus is probably the fact that he doesn't have like a S tier legendary. Everything else about Zeus is he doesn't have a lot of defense either, which is fine. He just provides you with all the big O. Okay. So then the next one down here is All Together. As a Hera Boon. It gives you 1 of each element, and then gives you 4 Infusion Boons. So yeah, so like you'll get an earth, a water, a wind, and a fire, and then an air, I should say, or whatever they call it, and then it'll give you there's two Infusion Boons for each of those elements. It'll give you a coin flip for each of them, so you're gonna get 1 of each element. This is not like run defining, but it definitely is better than Shocking Loss. We're going to drop this up for now in A tier. I could end up putting that into S tier. Next for the legendaries, we have King Tide. That is Poseidon's, and it gives you plus 200% damage for your splash effects against guardians. It really does. It is really great. We're going to drop that also. That can be the difference between killing a boss and not killing a boss, that's for sure. So we're going to go ahead and just drop that in A tier, right behind All Together. Okay, so the next one is going to be Winter Harvest. I'm going to put Winter Harvest in B tier right in front of Shocking Loss. What it does is, like, if something is frozen and they get to 10% HP, they shatter and die. And if you're like in a normal room with a bunch of monsters, they'll explode and they do damage in a surrounding area as well. This was also a boon in Hades 1. It was just a normal boon though, I think. I don't remember what her legendary was. Maybe it was her legendary. Don't quote me on what in Hades 1 what it was, but it actually it did like AoE to monsters in a certain amount. I just don't remember. It wouldn't kill bosses though. I'm fairly certain it didn't kill bosses. You can kill Kronos and Typhon with this. Like, they'll just get to 10% and die. It's pretty amazing. It's better than Shocking Loss for sure. Okay, so that was Demeter's. Now we're gonna go to Apollo. It's Exceptional Talent. It adds mana cost. I think it's plus 10, or it's either 10 or 20. I'm not exact. I can't remember. But it does. You do double Omega attacks and Omega specials. They'll fire twice. So if you have Mirror Thrasher, you actually you'll fire 4 times. Or if you have Momus, you'll fire 6 times. So it's pretty disgusting. So we'll go ahead and this is the first S tier one we're going to use. We're going to drop this into S tier. Exceptional Talent is very, very good. Next, we have Nervous Wreck. I love Nervous Wreck. Some people don't like it that much. I'm going to put it I think it's better than Altogether here. So I'm going to drop it in A, right on the other side of Altogether. It gives you, well, obviously it gives you anyone who gets weakness put on them will get 3 random curses, three random other curses. So you just have Glamour Gain, run into a room, run up next, and all of a sudden everything has four total curses. And that could be Froth, Blitz, Hitch, Scorch, like Wounds, whatever I'm missing, Daze, and for Freeze. I think that's all of them, right? So that's pretty bonkers. Yeah, it's great. Definitely very, very good. Okay, let's see here. What is the premium service? So what that does is it upgrades your weapon aspect to the next level. So if you have level 5 aspect, it makes it a level 6 aspect. This is very hit or miss. Some things it doesn't really do anything, and then some things it's run defining. So we're going to drop this one right at the bottom of A tier. When it's good, it's the best one. Like when you have it on Nergal, it takes the requirement to get Berserk from 9 strikes down to 4. So you're basically just always in Berserk mode. And if you get the hammer that makes Berserk last longer, then you are just basically you'll be in Berserk like 3 times more than you're not in Berserk. It's pretty gross. I don't know off the top of my head. I can't remember off the top of my head any of the rest of them. I just know some of them it just will like bump a percentage to up 10%, so you barely even notice that it did anything. But on some of them, like I said, it's super run defining. It's really good. All right, next is Hestia. We got Fire Away. This is going to probably be the worst legendary. I'm going to go ahead and drop this in C tier. It's not awful. What it does is when you drop your cast can block most projectiles, not even all. There's some things that will get through it, sadly. I might put it up in B if not for that. And then it applies, I think, 400 Scorch at the normal Scorch tick rate to whatever shot the projectiles. It's not awful. You still want it. Like, you're not going to be like, I don't want that. Now, if they offer it to you at the same time as like a really big pyrotechnique, you're probably going to take the pyrotechnique, or a duo boon, you're probably going to take the duo boon. But like, if it's just like a common hot pot and then a common something else, you're probably just going to take the Fire Away for sure, right? Like, it's still good. It's not like you don't want it. And then the last, we're just going to do the main core gods for this. I don't want to get into like Hermes and Chaos and all that jazz. So the last, Sanguinary Saver. That is Ares's legendary. It's going to be the second S tier one that we're going to drop in. So yeah, it basically takes Ares from like, I don't want any of this blood drop stuff to, I move and attack 100% faster. It's so absurd when you get it. You're like, wow, okay. It's definitely run defining, just like Exceptional Talent is. Those are the only two that I think are completely run defining. I think altogether it can be run defining. Like if you already have a ton of, like if it gives you a water fitness and a giant wispy wiles and puts you into whatever the Ares thing is called, Rallying Cry, and gives you 50% more on all your Olympian damage, that could be run defining, right? But it's most likely not. You're most likely just gonna get like a couple things that don't actually proc because you don't have enough points in them, and then a couple things that are like pretty good. It's gonna always be good. You're never gonna get all together and be like, no. But it's not. It's not always run defining. When it is pretty damn good. So this is how I'm gonna have the. This is how I have the tiers for the legendaries. So I think you have to just put. I think you have to put Apollo's at the top. And then second is Ares. And then the next tier is they're all really good. You're always gonna take them if they come up. Shocking Loss and Winter Harvest are very similar. They're strong. I never do not want them. They're always pretty good. And then Fire Away, it's like, you're definitely not gonna aim to have Fire Away. Okay, so next we're gonna go into the Infusion boons. We have air quality here. So what that does is, once you have 5 air elements, So maybe we should talk about the elements real quick. So the way that they work is different boons gods give you will have an element assigned to them. Duo boons are just purple. They're like a separate chaos infusion thingy bobber. Ignore them. But so like Zeus, all of his boons are wind. Like all of Hestia's boons are fire. All of Poseidon's boons are water, and all of Ares' boons are earth. And then the rest of them are a mixture of two. And then you have, for some reason, you have Hera, who offers boons in all four kinds of boons. And I think also Hermes does as well. Like Apollo is fire and wind. He might actually be more than one other one too. I don't think maybe, I don't know, but I know that you can get wind and water from Aphrodite. You can get let's see here. Fire. You said Hestia's fire. So yeah. And then it's fire, and we have fire and wind from Apollo. Water. It's earth and water, or earth and water. I think maybe even wind too from Demeter. So you might be mixtures of three on the other ones, but I know that Hephaestus is definitely just earth and fire. So it's interesting that different things you get from different gods. So we're going to go ahead and So what air quality does is if you get 5, it's not active. You can get it before you have 5 wins, but it won't be active until you have 5 wins. Once you have 5 wins, anything that does less than 50 damage now does 50 damage. And it used to be 30, and it was completely useless. But so the way that you really can use this and have it be great is you go into like a Demeter cast build, and then you have her cast, which is taking out like 10 damage per second, or 10 damage every 0.2 seconds, I think. And then you can add on Arctic Gale to that, which is another, I think, like 6 or 8 damage every 0.2 seconds. And then you can add on like Meat Grinder, which is a very low damage that ticks really fast. You can add on Prominence Flare, which is like another like 10 damage every point whatever seconds. And then you can have Static Shock. You could have like Demeter's Sprint, which is a very low number but ticks really fast. And you get air quality, and you're like literally times 3.5ing your damage if you have to include like your origination and your other buffs in those things. So they're not actually going to only be 10 damage, but there might only be 15 or 20, and all of a sudden you're doing 50 on each of these procs. You could literally just make yourself go nuclear. It can be really good. It just requires some setup. So we are going to drop air quality into A. All right, the next is proper upbringing. Proper upbringing is that as long as you have at least 2 of every element, the 4 core elements, all of your common boons gain rarity. They go to rare. This can be really, really good. Sometimes you just have to check, and if you have the requirements, look and see if you're going to get more than two things out of it. It's probably worth it. I've actually gotten like 8 or 9 things to go from common to rare. That's not like, you wouldn't say it's run defining, but it's definitely it is run enhancing to a ridiculous degree. So we will, just because it's like a little bit weirder to have, we will drop that in B tier, but it's still really good. Okay, next is water fitness, which is Poseidon's. I'm going to drop it in S tier, because if you're into Poseidon, and then you have a couple other gods that give you water, Dionysus gives you water, so yeah, you're going to easily just always have like 6, I think, minimum. And that's 90. They give you 15 HP per water. That's 90 HP. I've had like 150 easy. I've had board. I think I've got like 15, like 100, like 150 to almost 200 things out of it. So it's pretty, like 180. I know I've gotten at least 180 hit points out of it before. It's really easy to just it's trivial to get like 60, 75 hit points out of it. And then for the rest of the run, anytime you see water, it'll tick another 15 points. It's retroactive. So like there's the ones you already have, and then you'll get buffs out of the ones you pick up in the future too. So I'm going to drop that in S tier. Frosty Veneer. It's interesting. I don't think it does anything barely in the underworld. There's not a lot of things that hit you for more than 20 at a time. There are some things like, if you have Strength on, if you're using Death Defiances, Frosty Veneer is really good. If you have Strength on with all that the damage mitigation hits first. So Frosty Veneer is not going to do as much. But if you're running Death Defiances, I think Frosty Veneers is solid A tier. What it does is, anytime something hits you for 20 or more, it takes 10 damage off of it. It used to be way more busted. It used to just cap your damage at 20. So nothing could hit you harder than 20. And you could just, if you had Frosty Veneer going into Chronos, you could just let him land his one-shot kills on you and they would only do 20 damage. It was pretty ridiculous. I think they fixed that at some point. I'm not sure exactly when, but... Self-healing. This is very underrated. So, you got to think about it this way. So, you say you have 300 hit points. What it does is it heals 33% of damage that's done to you. 30 or 33%. It's one of those two numbers. I think it's 33. It's 1/3. So, the 1/3 of the damage that gets dealt to you, it heals it. You heal that back slowly over time. Like as one tick per whatever, half a second or whatever it does it at. So, let's say you have 200 hit points, and you take 30 damage. It heals 10 of that back. So, you only go to 180. And let's say you take another 30 damage, you go to 150. But it heals 10 of that back, so you're at 160. And then Blob just keep doing that. Like you can actually very easily, like, it could add like upwards of 50% health to you, I think, or more if you have a big hit point pool. So yeah, we're gonna drop that right also in A tier, and it only requires 3 fires. So you don't even have to like stack a bunch of fire to use it. You just get 3 fire boons. 3 fire elements, I mean, and you're good to go in that. That's the main reason why I'm going to put it in A, is because it's so easy to get that to go. Okay, next is Wispy Wiles. This used to be S tier, and it still is S tier. So, but it used to be 3% per wind boon, 3% dodge per wind boon. It was per wind element, I should say. It was ridiculous. It's still really good. I'm still going to drop it as the top infusion right there. You just get so much dodge out of it. It's just ridiculous. Even if you say you have 10 of them, it's 20% dodge. That's a lot of dodge. Okay. Next is martial art. For every stone you have, it gives you 5% bonus damage on your attack and special. Not like so if you have like Scorch and Blitz and those kind of things on it, it's not going to give you extra damage. It's just going to give you the white number. Whatever your attack or special is doing for the base damage, it's gonna buff that by 10%. We're going to drop that down here. It's okay. It's not bad. It's certainly fine. If you're using like the axe, it can be really good, things like that, or the punching with the black coat, or anything where you're doing a lot of auto attack. It's just I believe it's just your attack. I don't think it actually counts your omegas. It's just your base attack and your base special. I'm pretty sure. So we're gonna leave that there. Next is Slow Cooker. This was the best infusion in the game at one point during the Unseen update. This gives you 2 base power on your attack and special. For each fire element you have. So that's before you get your buffs. So let's say you have martial art, and you have that up to 100%, and you add this base power in first. So say you're adding 20 base power. That would take that to 40 base power with the martial art buff. So we're still gonna put this. Let's see, it's definitely better than air quality most of the time. We're going to drop Slow Cooker all the way up in here at the top of A tier. And then, for once, not least, we're going to grab a Growling Cry. This would be S tier if it didn't require 8. If it was like more 5 or 6, like in line with Frosty Veneer or air quality, I would have Rallying Cry be S tier. But I think I'm going to just have to put it right here probably. It would definitely be better than Slow Cooker if it didn't require 8 of them. Because it gives you a 50% damage on your bonus to your Olympian damage. So like if you have Scorch and Blitz, that seems, you know what, those numbers are big though. I'm gonna throw Aries a bone. I'm gonna throw Aries a bone. I'm gonna drop it in the bottom of it. I'm gonna drop it in the bottom of S, behind Wispy Wilds and Water Fitness. If it wasn't so hard to get it, it would probably be better than Water Fitness, but it's just hard to get. Like you can just have 4 Water Boons and get 60 health, whereas 4 Fires Knights or 4 Earth Knights is doing nothing. So yeah, but 50% bonus damage on your Olympian damage. That's your Blitz, your Scourge, your Splash. What else? That might be... Oh, your Bonks. Like your Hephaestus Blasts. That'd be insane. And he also gives you Earth, too. So you can have 50% damage on your Hephaestus Blasts. That would be really, really good, obviously. So that's what we're going to leave that for now. The only thing out of all this stuff, the only thing I think is, like, kind of poopy is Fire Away. And what's funny is it actually was, like, a strict, super good upgrade to what... Basically, her current Rush Boon used to be her legendary. It was the most idiotic. Like, it made no sense. I don't even remember what her Rush Boon used to do. So, yeah, that was also really bad. Now her Rush Boon's pretty good. Like, you're gonna take Heat Rush and be like okay with it, but that shouldn't be a legendary. Like a mediocre, like a top 5 Rush Boon. It used to be a legendary. But anyway, yeah. So if anyone has any ideas about about this, let me know. I think there's obviously room for nuance and discussion here. I don't think I'm the know-it-all, end-all person for game knowledge. This is just how I feel about it. I think pretty much everyone's going to agree that like Exceptional Talent and Sanguinary Saver are S tier, and that Wispy Wiles is probably S tier. Outside of that, I think everything else is probably up for discussion. You can be moved around pretty willy-nilly depending on how you like to play or which gods you prefer. So, leave a like, comment below, and have a great day, everybody.